Hey guys, how y'all doing? I wanted to post a video today, a few tips and tricks on how to cut your own hair. I learned this kind of during the pandemic. I've been cutting hair for a long time actually, but cut my hair, my son's hair. But during the pandemic, I had time to really hone in on the skill a little bit, so hopefully I won't mess my hair up too bad. I like to do this in between haircuts. I'll go to a barber shop and get lined up every once in a while, but in order to save a little bit of money, I'm cheap. I got my own clippers at home. I like to go ahead and lay out all my clipper heads according to setting size from highest to lowest, and I don't use them all. But right now my hair is not too bad. It starts to get a little shabby on the sides like this, so I like to trim it up. I've always had kind of a short hairstyle from when I was in the military, so let's get started. I'm going to start off with about a number 3 on the sides here, and I kind of fade mine up. So if you like that kind of high and tight or military looking style or something like that, this might work for you in between. It might save you a little bit of money because everybody needs a little bit of cheddar. Okay, let's see what I can do here. I'm just going to start on the sides here. And I kind of go up towards the top and pull away. Of course, I've laid a towel over top of my sink. I kind of just lay the ear down there. I go around the side of the ear, just like that there. And kind of up around the side. I don't use the ear spacer things. It's going to be hard for you guys to see for right now. And as I get towards the top, I kind of pull away a little bit like that, okay? And you don't have to see everything. After a while, you kind of go by feel. But you know, I will pull out a mirror in the back now and again just to double check everything. Now run back through on the sides, pull it away to the top. Kind of see that. Let's work this side and see what we got. Again, I just kind of start here on the sides. Work my way to the top. As I get to the top, I pull it away, dump the hair. Okay, I'll pull the ear down. Again, as I start to go to the top, the tip of the blade, I start to pull back away as the tip hits the top of the hair there. Keep my ear out of the way so I can see what I'm doing in the back. Pull it away just a little bit. You can actually do a pretty good job over time. So I'll just kind of go over this area again. You'll have a few strays here and there. Pull the ear down. Just kind of run around that ear. Like I said, you don't really need that ear setting thing that comes with your clippers because it's normally junk. Okay, now when I get to the back end of this, let me see if I got a mirror over here. Bear with me a second. I just sweep up the floor really good after all this so my wife don't get mad at me, but hey, I'm saving dime. So I'm going to hold my mirror up and I'm going to look in the mirror in the back here. It's a small handy dandy mirror. Let me get it situated where I want it. Make sure I got the rest of it evened up. So again, I'm holding my mirror, guys. I'm looking in my vanity mirror behind me or whatever. And after a while, I just kind of go by feel. How high I go up on my head. Don't forget to pull your razor out and up as you go. As I go along, I'm going to trim the top of this up. It's going to look kind of shabby right now, but I will go along with a number 5 or a number 4. I'll kind of angle my clippers to the side here a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll kind of angle my clippers to the side a little bit and run it that way. Kind of cut that rough edge off. It's kind of what the barber does anyways. Just kind of cut that rough edge off a little bit. Again, just checking, make sure I'm running it to the top, a crown of the head a little bit more. And just turn your clippers out and kind of just trying to fade the two sides in. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over here a little bit. See what I can see. Just get your mirror adjusted where you need it. Just kind of angling my clippers to the side a little and going along that hairline that I cut, just to soften that edge and fade it up. You know, you could save yourself $15–20 on a haircut. Hey, and that's gas money today, or money to go out to eat. Okay, so now I've got that. I kind of come in here, double check everything. Now I'm going to shorten this side up probably a little bit more. Just depends on how short you guys want to go. Again, I'm just checking the edges. Now it's best to not go too deep into the hairline because you can mess it up, you know. You always want to start with a higher number and work your way down. So I'll start with the number 3, work my way down to a 4. Okay, so now you can kind of see them. I want to leave the top a little bit longer for right now, but I can get into that with a pair of scissors if I need to. Okay, so now I'm going to switch down to number 3, and it just takes some time. That was a number 4. You can see that on your blade there, your blade cover. So. Now I'm just going to repeat that. Go along the ear there. Usually I use both mirrors and I'll fold them in so I can see what I'm doing. But if you don't have that, like I said, you can use a small handheld mirror. Pull your ear down really good. Be careful, just run along the side. Like, get towards the top, angle it this way, and cut that edge off, okay? We're going to comb that down and work on that a little bit. I'll just run it up and down like this, just like a barber would. Down the ear, double checking. And like I said, a lot of it's fill. After a while, you just fill it out, okay? When you get to the top, remember to pull that out like this, just like that. You get closer to the top. And you'll gain more confidence the more you do this. Okay, so I've got my handy dandy mirror here. And run it up to the top and pull it away. clean everything else up. And I do this after I exercise or run before I jump in the shower. I put a little bit of pomade or hair gel in and style it and let it dry a little bit before I do this. Just running over that again. It just takes some time and patience, guys. And maybe your husband already does this at home or does it for your son, and heck, I even cut the girl's hair. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, shut that off. Make sure I get the hair off my blade pretty good. I'm going to take this and adjust my blade all the way up so where it's flat and level, kind of. You have to be careful with this. I like to bring my sideburns even, just like the military, even with the top of this, the notch of my ear here. And then what I'll do is take this, angle it, and go just along the sides very carefully, okay? So that's what I'm going to do on this side. Try and line that up nice and flat there. You see how flat that is? Okay. Now I'm just going to angle my clippers like this at about a 45-degree angle and cut that hair just along the top of the ear and kind of use the ear as a guide, okay? So now you can see the side there. You see what I can do? This is my left hand, so again I'm going to cut it right around there. Okay, and I'm going to angle that blade, run it along the ear there. I get it from behind. Normally what I do is I use my other mirror and I fold them in, but if you don't have that, use your handheld mirror. And you go along the back side of this here, do the same thing. You can even clean the back side up a little bit. And just be careful because these clippers can get hot. I just get kind of the gist of it there. And I'll go back around with a razor and hit that. Again, just let me see if I can do this here. Just kind of clean it up at an angle. And you kind of go by feel too. Now I'll be able to fade that up a little bit better. Kind of sweaty. I'll be able to fade that with a shorter, like a number 2, number 1, and then fade it up into it. Okay, usually doing this by myself, so I'll just take a look and see where I'm at. Now if you got your comb, sometimes it's good just to comb it out. Just combing it out along the sides there. And I'll try and blend this in so it doesn't have such a hard edge on it. So we started off again with the number 3. Go ahead and make sure your clippers are up and cleaned. You can use a little brush that comes with it. So we start off with the number 3. Now look at the sides here, and I want to kind of blend this in a little bit more, cut that hard edge off. So what I'm going to do is take like a number 5, okay? You can put that on your clipper. And well, before I do that, I'm going to take my clipper and I'm going to adjust it down to about halfway, because we're just trying to blend here, okay? And we're going to put that number 5 on, because remember, I started off with number 4 and I went down to a number 3, and the whole thing is just kind of blending. At the barber, they'll go maybe, it depends on how short you want it, number 1 into 2 into a 3, and you kind of blend it in. So I'm going to take a number 5, and I'm just going to run along that edge and take that hard edge off. Try and take the hard edge off. Like I said, I normally do this between the 2 mirrors, so I hope this turns out all right. I'll fold my mirrors in so I can see both sides. That's a little easier. Just going along the top there, trying to take that hard edge off. Hey, we're not barbers. It's not going to be perfect, but the more you do this, the better you get at it. Again, I'm kind of holding it at an angle here. And you can come in and trim the rest of this on the sides here. Just going in an angle, trying to soften the hard edge. There's not going to be much to take off. Okay, let's check that back real quick. Kind of going at an angle. It's really not taking much off at this point, but and it'll blend up good. You can use a little hair gel to move the hair around, cover stuff if you need to. Hardest part's this back side here. And again, I might use a number 4 on it again, or number 3. Get to this point, if I still have that hard edge, then you can use your number 3 again and blend it. But okay, so that's a number 5, just to cut the top part here a little bit so it blends in somewhat. Again, comb that down. Now when you've got your clippers, another way of doing this is to take your comb. You're going to pull the side of the hair up like this here. Okay, we're going to do 2 fingers. And this is the best way to cut that edge off with your scissors. You just run that along your fingers. Just like that there. Careful not to cut your fingers, because you can get a piece of meat in there and it's not much fun. So there's what it looks like, okay? So just using your fingers as a guide, 2 fingers. And what we're going to do is work along these sides just like that the whole way. Going to comb it up, 2 fingers like that. Don't be afraid to do this. When I first started, I kind of was, but okay. And it'll be nice and even. Very careful of your fingers. Believe me, you don't want to cut that. You just work your way along the sides there. Okay, get another hunk of hair. That's going to soften up that edge also. But I do everything I can with the clippers first, because if you ever go into a barber, that's what he's doing. Now, I'm not a barber. Okay. And just, again, I'm combing and I'm looking, run along that side, working my way to the back here, okay? And this is a wonderful way just to do your own haircut, trim it up just a little bit. Be very careful of your skin on your fingers. And kids, don't try this at home. Let your parents do that, because I really don't want to hear some kid got on there and started cutting their own hair and cut their daggone finger open. You have to be very careful with your scissors, guys. Respect the scissors. just kind of lay them against the finger to use as a guide. And if you're under 18, let your mom or dad do this. You know, not saying you guys can't, but what I am saying is it's dangerous, and you definitely don't want to go in for stitches because you cut your hand. Just using the fingers as a guide, being very careful. It's a little harder to do as you get towards the crown of the head, the back of the crown, okay? Okay, now this side where my part is going to be a little bit tougher for me. I'm going to kind of ruin my part here a little bit. I got to think for a second. So if you look, I've kind of softened up that edge there by just using my fingers, combing it up, and just doing 2 fingers. Okay, so I've softened that edge nicely. I'll deal with the top here in a minute. We're going to do the same with this. Okay, don't be afraid. Get in there, get a hunk of that hair. 2 fingers. Okay, let that hair drop down. Now you don't want to get this main part of your hair that you're parting over. You want to get that out of the way. Better safe than sorry, or your hair's gonna look stupid here. You're gonna have short spot in the top of your hair. So I'm starting right about in this area here, checking my hair again, working my way back, getting a couple fingers. Using my fingers as a guide. I'm not perfect with this, guys. And like I said, it's harder on this side for me because I am definitely not left-handed. If you mess it up, you can hit it with the clippers. Okay, guys, now I can't really get to my sink because I have it covered with the towel, but I just grabbed a glass of water. I'm going to take my comb, kind of tap that, and I just want to kind of comb this up and wet it down a little and define that part. Get it up off the area where I'm cutting. This is kind of hard for me. Comb it downward so it doesn't look too bad so far. Now we've gotten to this point, we've kind of softened up the edge. It looks a lot better on this side because I'm right-handed. But go ahead and comb that down. And then we're going to give it just a second to dry, comb it all the way around, and then you're going to run your clippers again, just to double check, okay? Okay, the wife came in, used the bathroom. Okay, so I'll just take my hands now, okay? And we're just going to run your fingers through that part area. Kind of let that dry and lay it down. We're almost there, guys. I mean, if you can look at it, we're 90% done. Now, if you're wanting to grow your hair out on top a little bit and you're in between haircuts, this is pretty good. Excuse all the gray, I don't mind. I'm just going natural. This is pretty good. But if you want to go along the top, you can just continue on with 2 fingers and go along the whole top of the hair. And you can trim all this hair up here too if you want to. But me, I kind of want to let this grow out a little longer because I want a little more length in my hair. But yeah, looks pretty good even right now. So basically I get to this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clippers and I'm going to go with the number 3 again, maybe 2. And you can just blend it in and soften those edges up a little bit. But as you can see, this looks pretty good. See if I can get a number 3. Okay, again, I'm going to adjust my clippers all the way up because I've already used the 3 on the sides. And I'm just going to go along and check everything. Just run it over everything again. You hear that? Zzz. Kind of missed something there. Get to the sides, you pull it away. Pull it away as you get to the side. Soften that edge. This is the defining. going back through checking everything. This takes some patience. Again, angle that blade at like a 45 angle and pull it away. Get to the top, pull it out a little bit. Angle your blade, soften that edge. Don't be afraid to get up into that hairline a little bit, because you've already used a number 3. Let me move my water out of the way so I don't spill it. You've already used the number 3 into here, so you've used like a number 5 or number 4 into here. Now take that number 3 and just angle your blade and cut that edge off. And we're just basically trimming it up and defining it a little bit because we're almost there. We'll do the same over here. After a while, you just kind of go with the fill. Be careful here in the front. You don't want to cut too much of that off so you look like a goober. And like I said, you'll get better at this time. And that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, really, I can stand here. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I'll comb it down, look it over again, and just look in my mirror. And what I'll do is take a pair of clippers and I will put like a 1.5 millimeter on the end of this. Again, make sure your clippers are all the way up, the hair is cleaned off of it. Put a 1.5 on the end of this and clean up along the edges of it. Now you have to pull up and away when you're doing the edges here, okay? And I can see right now I'm not quite where I need to be with this. I'm going to shorten up the sides a little bit more. I really don't like getting past a number 3 or number 2. It gets way too short. So you got to be careful. And you're just working that edge a little bit. This is tricky, guys. I normally do this in the mirror, so that's basically all there is to it. Fold your mirror in half and kind of do this on the back side. And just remember, as you're trimming, you get to that hairline and you really pull up and away like that, okay? And that's really all there is to it, guys. You can kind of see I've trimmed it up pretty good. Looks really nice. And I'm going to leave the length on the top. I might have to blend in a little more here, but that's really all there is to it, guys. Just take a, shut that off. Just take a razor and clean up the back side. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me for this tutorial on the haircut. Don't forget to clean up so your wife don't get mad. Thanks.